Righty. Getting everything situated here.
We good?
I am waiting to get the
Can you hear that music?
confirmation on the other end, and I think we are good to go. Okay, awesome. All right, everybody. Madelaine and Amalia here with
Hello.
your Pisces new moon cosmic chat. We got Madelaine in a coffee shop today, sipping on a cup of Joe. I'm not, but I've got a little nibble, some homemade muffins that I made that I might nibble on through this forecast, because this is a very dreamy forecast. We've got a lot of this water Pisces energy, and I wanted to share with everybody the glyph for Pisces, because I feel like it really represents so beautifully the energies that we will likely be experiencing this new moon cycle. And the glyph for Pisces is two fish. Let's see if you can see that, swimming in two opposite directions, but yet they're connected. And so what I've been kind of feeling into and recognizing in my own life is there are parts of my life where I feel like I'm going in opposite directions. However, if you think about it in terms of a circle, even if you go in opposite directions, you're eventually going to meet again at some point. So think about this in terms of, you can't really make a mistake. Whether you go this way or you go that way, you're going to end up where you need to be. But if you can tune into, and Madelaine's going to be talking about this, I think, as we go along, if you're able to tune into your intuition, which is such a Piscean thing, and listen to that inner voice within you that is guiding you gently and helping put you on that path and flowing. I think that's another key word for Pisces, is flow. Flowing with the energy that's showing up instead of pushing against or swimming against the current. So it's really going with the flow of the current. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So pay attention to where in your life you might be completing something, or you're in a situation that, I'm kind of picking up on this for somebody that might be watching or listening to this.
Oh, yeah, you're tapping into your psychic.
Yeah, there might be somebody here who they've completed a cycle, but yet there's another layer, like some silt on the bottom of their emotional ocean that's gotten a little stirred up, and that they just need to wade through, but it's just short-lived. So don't necessarily get caught up in, if you're in this place where you can't see very clearly, or some old stuff is rising back to the surface, just allow it to be there. And don't push against it, and learn what you need to learn and move through. Know that it's going to clear. The water will be clear again. You'll be able to see which way to go, but there might be some old stuff that comes back up for you to deal with. I wanted to also share just some key words that I feel like really epitomize the energy of this new moon. And I can't wait to hear what Madelaine thinks about this, if she thinks that it's on track, or, you know, we've got Saturn in the mix for this new moon. So we have the planet of karma, discipline and structure. And then we have, you know, Pisces ruled by Neptune, which is a lot more dreaming and etheric. So when you think about these two together, it's almost like there's a little bit of friction with the two of them, but yet they're moving us through maybe some karmic patterns, some karmic relationships. So take this time to imagine what your ideal would be in your life. And that could be based on a structure in your life. That could be a relationship. That could be maybe some, you know, some foundational structure in your life. But dream big, imagine what the possibilities and the potentials are, and see what begins to open up in your life. Some doors and avenues may appear. So, yeah. So imagination, inspiration, and manifestation. Those were three words that I kept hearing over and over and over again. And, you know, just remember, this is a very emotional, spiritual period of time. So there's going to be some things that come up, and that's okay. And
Yeah.
I think Madelaine's got some tips for us on how to navigate some of that.
Yeah. Well, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Aries is the first sign. Aries is like the red chakra. Pisces is like the crown chakra, purple, ruled by Jupiter. So we've got this new moon, which is preparing us for all the new beginnings that are about to happen in March, because we've got so many planets leaving the, we've got a lot of planets that are this year that are going to meet their 29th degree in one sign, and then they're going to move into the first degree of the next sign. So, and we're seeing a lot of this happening in March. Saturn is going to be going into Pisces, as we were talking about. This new moon being in Pisces is very important, because we are preparing for the new beginnings that are occurring in March.
Yeah.
And what we have to make sure before we align in our, and we were just talking about this before that, a lot of people are experiencing blocks right now. And it's like Saturn is in the picture. Saturn is going to hold you back. And then we've got this Pisces intuitive moon coming in, which is non-action. And in my tarot workshops where you study the major arcanas and the steps of the tree of life, you always take feminine, masculine act. So you have non-action, action, non-action, action, so that your actions are always in alignment with your soul. So when we have this Pisces new moon, we're going inward one more time, learning, reflecting on what we learned in Saturn in these Capricorn for the last 5 years when Saturn was in Capricorn and Aquarius. We worked hard and we learned some lessons, and we didn't get a lot of reward for it yet. But we will get a reward for it, by the way, when Saturn leaves its sign of Aquarius. We will all get a gift in that house, and we'll go through that for all the 12 signs, and we can talk about that.
Nice.
But yeah, so Saturn is coming in right now and going, okay, we're finishing up this whole cycle. We want you to reflect, go inward, reflect deeply. What did you learn? What did you not want? What do you really want? Because sometimes when Saturn is in the picture, we go, I think I must do it this way. This is the proper way. And we're going from headspace, and we're going, oh, this is the way it works. This is the way they did it. This is the way the government says. This is the way the structure has been laid out. But we're with all these 0 degree planets hitting, you're going to have Jupiter even going into Taurus, which is going to be at 0 degrees Taurus, at 1 degree Taurus or 0 degrees. And we've already had Jupiter there this year. So we're initiating this new Ashwini. In Vedic, it's called Ashwini. It's like this out of the gate energy. But Saturn is making sure before it goes into the next sign that you've intuitively reflected on your lessons that you've learned, that you've mastered that. And that because Saturn is in Cazimi right now with the sun, which means you're purifying your motives, you're focusing, and something is going to get blocked that you're trying to materialize, because it's again, external mentality. It's the external idea of this direction. So this Pisces new moon is going to get you to go inward and realign intuitively, which what I did this morning in my meditation, I was like, why is this blocked? And so in tarot, you always want to reevaluate. You don't. I was zipping up my jacket today, and I was almost kind of forcing it. And when you force it, it gets clogged and locked, and it gets really jammed in there, and you cannot. And I was like, whoa, back up on that zipper, man. Like, just like, but I thought that was a great analogy of like, pull the zip, go back down, and gently, 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 gently lift the zipper back up. Because I've got this kind of fabric that really gets caught in the zipper. So that's what Saturn is doing. It's like, whoa, 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 line up, line up, line up, go inward, meditate, everybody. Take your inner masculine, zoom in on your intuitive center, your inner feminine, and focus and ask her, what does she really want to materialize in this next pattern, in this next cycle? What does she want to master? What tasks do you want to take on? Because when you can either take on this new cycle, Saturn cycle, consciously, or you can take it on subconsciously. If you take it off subconsciously, you will be put to task. And it will feel shitty. You will be like, oh my God, why do I have to go through this? Why, you're always sort of tripping up on yourself. But when you know Saturn is there, and you're going to have a focus. Saturn is about focus. So you're going to learn a lesson here. You consciously take it on. And the more intuitively in alignment you are with this next cycle, the less out of alignment your lessons are going to be, as it were. The more focused you can be during this period. It's very, we're really looking at deep focusing now. We got the sun, Cazimi, Saturn, the moon, everybody meeting the sun, going, where are we headed here? And the sun is going, you got to purify your motives. You're going to purify this vision that you have. because when you go into a meeting with the sun is technically God in a way. In ancient times, they called it God. So you're really meeting with God and reevaluating the point of all of this.
So
You know,
I'd love to add a little something to that too, that was coming through as you were sharing that. I loved what you were saying about the reevaluating a little bit, you know, asking your feminine, the receptive part of you, which way to go and what to focus on, and that
she'll show
that
you too. If you go into
strategy.
meditation- Yep.
So along with that, what was coming to me was I was having a conversation with someone recently about, you know, we have all the planets are moving forward. And so that's a lot of this forward momentum, but yet, like you were just sharing with Saturn, it's this a little bit of holding back. And because it's karmic in nature, you know, anytime there's any karmic pattern, it's old stuff that's looking to be balanced in some way. So what came to mind was, if you're moving forward, you have a plan, you've got this path ahead, something is kind of holding you back. It's almost like somebody's got the back of your pants and you can't quite move.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Your parent, the Saturn.
Yeah, the father, yeah.
It's a feminine,
But if you just
of the feminine. Yeah, go ahead.
if you just turn around and you look and you go, oh, I see what's going on, I see what's happening, let me just take one step back, remove this hand, and now then I go, oh wait, right here, I didn't see this little pathway here to the side that I can take, and then you're realigned. So it's not necessarily about the same energy as a retrograde planet where there's a lot of reevaluating, reassessing, and recalibrating. This is more of a refinement of where you are, because you're likely, based on all of the other energies that we've had with the other 11 signs leading up to Pisces, you probably refined pretty darn well. And now it's just like these little bits. And now that we have Saturn in the mix too, that is messing with some of that forward momentum energy. So I don't know if that maybe helps people decipher the energy as they go forward.
Here, yes, I think that's very clarifying of this concept, because, you know, basically what we're doing is we have in our psyche body lower density consciousness beliefs that are like brainwashed, because we're moving into a higher frequency reality. Our better life that we dream to have is higher frequency. So we're held back by lower consciousness mentalities, by beliefs that block our desires, and it's usually karma. It's usually our experience, a repeat cycle of experiences that we're processing the wrong way, creating a repeat cycle. So yes, this Pisces new moon it's that psychic energy where you really are clearing your psyche body. So you're lifting your frequency for the new reality. So you're either going to experience it through triggering in a new moon, and you're going to get triggered that lower density belief system that's blocking your new manifestation, or you can consciously seek to find out what is the lower frequency belief that you're psychically, so we say brainwash. That's why tarot and astrology are really important, because they're helping us brainwash ourselves into a more positive reality that we desire to manifest. So this new moon, the psychic new moon, is going in to evaluate our psyche. I'm kind of saying the same thing again, but like linking it to the karmic idea, where we're really learning that karmic lesson, and we're pulling out of that, and we become conscious and aware of how to pull out of that karmic cycle. And now we suddenly see that we had blockages in a belief, and that we are capable now of what we wanted to manifest, but it was our psyche blocking. So now we're like higher vibrational in our belief system. And then now we're going to manifest a better reality. So it's really about, it's a non-active energy, and it's about purging some of these lower density psyche body, pain body stuff that is subconsciously blocking what we want to attract. And it's hard to see what that is until you get these either triggers, or you go into deep meditation on a very psychic moon like this. You're going to make a strong connection and a clarity. Then you're going to learn, then that's the sort of resolve of that whole journey of Saturn in those signs, those Capricorn, teaching you an area of your life where you were not mature enough to have what you want.
Some people may not like to hear that.
Yes. It's all about maturity. It's all about growing up. Saturn makes us grow up. So we're going to grow up. Pisces in particular are going to do a lot of growing up. I had a young girl, she goes, I'm Pisces, because I was doing a talk at a ceremony type thing. And she's like, I'm Pisces, what's that mean for me? And I said, you're going to really grow up big time in the next 2.5 years. You're going to take on a lot of responsibilities and be like a much more mature person by the end of this transit. So we're going to grow up now somewhere new.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So shall we dive into Aries and see what the stars hold for those folks?
So Aries. So we're going to talk about the new moon in Pisces and a little bit about the area that has been the challenging lesson of where they've learned. So let me pull up my
Okay.
There's so much going on in everybody's charts right now. I mean, when I pull synastry, I mean, when I pull my transit charts on people, I'm just like, whoa, so many things being activated by, we really are lining up to a whole new chapter in our lives all the way.
I noticed the same thing looking at some charts with looking at the aspects in the full moon and certain people. You know, I always look at myself and my guy, but I just couldn't believe how many things were going on. It was like,
I know,
all of these things, and not just with the moon, just with a lot of planetary aspects. It was pretty amazing.
Every one of my personal planets has a direct major, I mean, like, it's incredible. Like my life's about to completely change too. So it's like, wow, I'm fascinated. It's going to be amazing. I think it's great. I think it's going to be great. So
it's exciting.
Aries, you guys have Pisces in your 12th house. So yes, we really are focusing on, this is a deep time to go deep, Aries. You want to focus. If you want to use astrology knowledge to our highest good, you want to really take these messages like to go inward on these, to really use this new moon to go deep, meditate, align with your true soul. Aries have a hard time because they're very in their heads. They're very mental. Aries is the most active, action-oriented energy. So you're going to do a flip on your own natural way and go deep into meditation, deep into intuitive knowing. Whole new things happening for you in March. So you've really learned a lot around career. So Aries have been letting go of mental, because Capricorn, wherever we have Capricorn in our chart, is where we've gone out of alignment with headspace rather than heart space. We can all do that in areas in our lives, but that's a big one right there.
Yeah.
Capricorn. So you're pulling intuitive, realigning, going forward in a right way. Now, this is going to be a long-term choice everybody's going to be making here, long-term new beginnings. So again, intuitive knowing what you truly want on a soul. We are really aligning with the soul. Aries are stopping all the way, really evaluating their soul, really getting clarity, learned a lot of lessons. They have been very out of alignment around career, seeking of the career that in some way has been more security-based, not soul filling. So now Aries are going to want to seek that cup that fills them on a deep level, but also we are looking at a past life issue. So a past life issue could definitely come up and trigger you. That is your karmic issue that makes you make the kind of choices that you make that are secure based in your career. So this triggering might come up where you really test yourself and you go, nope, I'm not going to continue that cycle. I'm going to consciously go this way now, which is what my soul wants, not what my lower mind wants. We really are looking at lower and higher mind, right? So we're following the higher mind with the psychic energy. So the Aries are going to tune into their higher calling, their higher mind, what they higher want. It's a focus. And because they're going to align up with this Pisces in their 12th house for the next 2.5 years, they're going to be really, really learning a lot about their past lives, about their true soul callings, about spirit. They may open up to spiritualism on a really big way in their own personal, in a personal sort of pursuit. The knowing of the self becomes really important for Aries. This is great. You know, if you don't Aries, but you see this new moon in Pisces is right up there, and it's going to trine your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll trine your 8th house. So it could be very good finances for Aries too. You always want to look at where the lunation trines your chart, because that's something really great opening up. So
Oh,
finances, yeah.
that's an interesting aspect. I didn't think about that. That's
Mhm.
true. So so to continue what we started last moon cycle, we have some cards. So I'm using the flower, let me go this way, the Flower Evolution deck by Lotus Way. And Lotus Way flower elixirs, essences, mists are really fantastic to help support you with the moving through this energy. So each one of the signs, I'm going to draw a card that's going to be particularly supportive. Now, you don't have to purchase any items to receive the benefit of this, because this is just as powerful energetically speaking too. So I'm going to show you the card, and just take in the flower, take a screenshot of it for those of you who have Aries anywhere in your chart to refer back to. I'm going to flip the card over, which has, I'm not going to read everything on here, but I will just share that this activates fierce compassion. And I think that really ties in beautifully with Aries, because Aries tend to be these go-getters, these, really like taking action people. And sometimes they forget that there are others involved. Sometimes they're so focused on like that fiery movement that maybe a little compassion might be a great way to help them anchor in that intuitive knowing of which way to go and really take in the bigger picture of what's happening around them. So here we have black bat flower. I don't know why I'm all tongue twisted today.
Black bat flower. Huh?
Black bat flower. So this is I think a really interesting flower. This one's I find very, very powerful. It's in a number of elixirs, and I'll flip the card around so that everyone can that has Aries in their chart can take a look and really get to know this flower if you have Aries in your chart. And you can go to Lotus Way. Sorry, what was that, Madelaine?
Well, I guess I just saw the word passion, and it was compassion. So it's almost like Aries really do need to line up with their passion, their passionate desire, their soul's desire.
Yeah, I think that exactly, and it gives you the power to propel yourself forward, dissolves rational, irrational fears, impurities, dread, and worry. But it also magnifies the ability and the readiness to advocate for yourself or others. So again, I don't know why that feels important for Aries right now. Aries can be a little more self-focused. So perhaps this is allowing them to take themselves into account and honor themselves, but also take others into account as well. So that is Aries.
That's never going to hurt an Aries person.
No, it's not. No. All right. So let's move on to Taurus. I'm excited about Taurus.
Taurus, boy, you guys are interesting lives this year, because you have all these things, you've got the nodes in your house, and you've got in your sign, and you've got Uranus in your sign, you've got, I think one more eclipse at least this year in your sign, 7th and 1st houses. So you guys are going to have Pisces in your 11th house. So there's going to be new beginnings in your tribe, in your possible social media. Interestingly enough, social media networking type of a thing. New friendship groups that are much more in alignment, your true tribe, that again, you're going to have Saturn there for the next 2.5 years. So these are serious. Now, Saturn adds an element of serious commitment. So, but again, it's going to be the right thing. So you're really aligning with the right group and committing to a new, possibly even working online as well, don't forget. And so this new moon in your 11th house with Saturn there could be that you're really shifting to a more online career type of a thing as well. And working more focused, or potentially you get involved in a new group or in a new big social networking groups, and you become more prominent in that area working with that group or something like that. So now yes, so let me look at the Capricorn energy and so you've been going through karma in your 9th and your 10th houses, or clearing negative beliefs, changing of beliefs, rapid shifts in beliefs, belief system that was more security based. You had belief systems that were more influenced from parents rather than your own. So Taurans are really reevaluating their true belief systems, what really they're waking up to a different way of processing, all about processing again. And then the 10th house is career. Saturn is leaving the 10th house, going into your 11th house. So you're really learned a lot about career, and you're really lining up with your more intuitive way. There's an intuitive, introspective period now to make sure that you really know where to go with this next step in your next chapter. So around your friendships group, which way to sort of, even it might even be just to really reevaluate how you're going to promote yourself, how you're going to take yourself forward in social media or out into the world or out in front of people. And then you're going to work really hard at that, because you learned a lot about that in the last 5 years with Capricorn in your 9th and your 10th house. You've really learned some lessons around your career and around your beliefs. And now you're going to start, rather than, again, we're shifting from survival to thrival. Because we're evolving up. So we're growing in that area and becoming more in faith too. Don't forget, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. That's another element to this I need to add, that we're having more faith in going forward. We're realizing that we created our negative karmic cycles through negative lack of faith in trust in a divine abundant force. So brave new beginnings for Taurans, stepping out of their comfort zone. Good for you, Taurans. You can do it.
Yeah, I really love what you were saying about that new tribe, and that potentially affecting your career and how you engage with the world, and also recognizing that the way you promote yourself is going to make a difference. Because,
yeah,
you know, I know, like for myself, my guy, the people I know that have Taurus in their chart, that is a big theme for them. It's this shifting of the friends groups, reevaluating the people that are around you, and how do you optimize the people that are with you to support each other. And the flower for Taurus is really, I think this is really cool. It is the strawberry blossom, and this activates optimism, expect the best, which I feel like is so cool for, let me see if I can get this lined up here, for Taurans. Because with all of the activity that's been in our house, the Taurus house, it's been a lot of activation and a lot of energy and a lot of very uncomfortable shifts and changes. So this flower, the strawberry blossom, feels really amazing to expect the best, to know that all the things that we've been through are paying off.
Well, that rings right with that, what I was saying with the 9th house, because that's what people are learning all around with that Jupiter. This is a Jupiter ruled moon in old astrology, ancient astrology. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So it's like, and Neptune, these are all about the ethereal, the belief, you know, the higher frequencies. So Taurans are waking up that the thing that they learned, that they needed to learn, was to have more optimism, more faith. Just that card. Perfect.
That's awesome. Okay. So Gemini, what's going on for those twins?
You smarty pants. Geminis are so smart. My dad's a Gemini. He's very bright, very intelligent. All right. Pisces is in your 10th house, so new beginning in your career house. And so you've had 8th and 9th Saturn in the last 5 years. And that would have been very eye-opening and shifting, and shall we say, we're going to get, because that's in your Capricorn is in your 8th house, and Aquarius is in your 9th house. Again, waking up to a lot of shifts in beliefs around government and around corruption potentially, and around what you felt to be solid, because the 8th house in Capricorn is a security-based, financial-based, you know, there's some kind of understanding that Gemini have had around finances and money and outside resources and taking risks. They're going to realize they made risks that were spiritually aligned, unaligned, because the 8th house is kind of a risk-taking house, and there was karma around the way they risked, that they weren't using their intuitive knowing. So Gemini are more aware of the fact that they made out of alignment choices without tuning in. Gemini is a very brain space, very mental, very mutable. They change their mind a lot. They don't know what's real solid. They're seeking that solidity. Like, where do I rest my mind? Where is it solid? This is what we're going to be doing with the Saturn. Saturn is saying, where are you going to rest? Where are you going to land? You mutable minds, you. Where are you going to land, right? So then they're going to land. They're going to know, where do I land? I land with my intuitive knowing, that Pisces, that intuitive knowing around my 10th house. Pisces, Gemini are here to learn to align with their intuitive knowing for their career, not their mind. We're supposed to use both. But the mind is supposed to come in and support the intuitive knowing, not the other way around. So we get lost in karmic loops when we're going the other way around with that. So Gemini are going, wow, wait a minute. I know my intuitive alignment with my career now. All I needed to do with risk taking is great. The universe awards risk takers. It's just you need to follow your intuitive knowing with that risk taker. It needs to be aligned risk. And that's what these energies going masculine, feminine, earth receptive. Gemini is an outward energy. Capricorn is an inward. Pisces is an inward. It's like align up with your mind, align it up. Don't just go flying off and get excited and inspired about what everybody else is doing or the world is doing or what looks good or what's. Make sure you follow that intuitive hunch. That's gonna make your risk successful. So Gemini are really learning about. Most Geminis I know are pretty good at being positive, though. It's a very upbeat, fun energy. They're a lot of fun. So, but they really are fine-tuning that power.
Yeah. So the pomegranate flower
Yeah.
is the card that came out for Gemini, and this activates strength. However, one thing I want to bring up about this though is that it dissolves irritation between the physical and the emotional, which I think touches in on what you were saying just a moment ago. So here's the little bit more of the, let me see if I can get this so that it will not be such a glare. But I think this really does tie into what you were saying. It's if all of the Gemini mind can settle into that intuitive space, tune into the emotions as well, and then anchor in whatever it is that they're meant to focus their attention and their energy on, instead of being all over the place like Gemini can be.
Yep. It's hard for them to make decisions. It's hard for them to commit to things. They're very commitment phobic. This might be a challenging time for Gemini. Saturn is time for you to commit. And they can feel that intuitively. We all can feel these energies. But then Gemini is going, what do I commit to?
Yeah.
Like, sorry guys, Saturn is time. So you're going to have to commit, but you got to go inward. You got to make that connection, that deep connection. And you will.
Yeah.
The moon is going to make everybody do this on some level. You can be conscious of it or unconscious of it. You don't want to get too drunk and escapey in this new moon. That's another potential people might do. They might get triggered and then they want to escape the way they feel and they go nutty cakes and go drink or something and become crazy escapists for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You want to tune in and use this power to connect.
Okay.
With yourself.
So Cancer, how are they going to be faring?
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Cancer, this is going to be very great for Cancer. Speaking of me being one, because it's trining. My moon is 1 degree, so it's on my moon, and my ascendant is 0 degrees Cancer, so it's trining my moon. So it's going to be fabulous. Yeah. So for Cancers, this is going to be a really nice new moon because it is trining your ascendant. And also when Saturn is in Cancer, it's going to be trining your ascendant. It's going to be great for Cancer times. Woo. So relationships, yes, Saturn rules your relationship houses, your outside resources, financing from joint resources. So Cancer are really Cancers are really going to be starting a new cycle in career related 9th house stuff. It's like it's basically the traveling, teaching, all stuff I want to do. It's all great for me. I'm loving it. Travel, teaching, yeah. Working as philosophical teachers or helping people with their spiritual progress and being a coach and all that kind of stuff, right? So what is changing in what lessons have Cancer learned in all of this was that their salvation is not through relationship, because cancers tend to be the most codependent of the signs. They tend to see, because wherever you have Capricorn tends to be where your mind has some sort of brainwashing into seeking security that way. So now cancers are like waking up. They're no longer, they've healed that issue of seeking security through relationships, pretty much across the board, all cancers I know. And now it's like an awakening to what is secure for them, which is their connection to higher self, the ninth house, their interest, what fills your cup, wherever Jupiter is placed in your chart, that fills your cup, that makes you happy, that makes you feel alive. So cancers are really ready now to sort of become more leadership positions, because they're going to have Aries over their 10th house, career. Cancers have really cleared a lot of insecurities through the relationship pain of codependency, which was dropping your self-esteem. And so now cancers are much more higher up in their self-esteem, because they're seeking, they've made more in alignment with their higher self, rather than aligning with relationships. And I keep forgetting to talk about the gifts that everybody's going to get, by the way, just to go back on that. Basically, the gift you're going to get is, if like Saturn was in your career house, the gift you get when it leaves is a fabulous new job or an upgrade in your job. So it's a good thing. It's a good chance that any cancers that have blocked relationships through fear, dependency on relationships, are now able to clear that and able to attract in a gift of a relationship. That's very possible. But also more importantly, the cancers are intuitively in love with their intuitive selves and their intuitive life, and connecting more in the world intuitively. It's just, this new moon is just so up Cancer alley. It's like yay for cancers here. And they're going to step into aligning with their true calling and their true heart's desire, because they're not blocked by that anymore, by love is a heart thing, is a love thing. So pain in relationship purging is painful. So they've really cleared a lot of this pain. Saturn in your 8th house, challenging. And so they've done a lot of work on that. So it's almost like they're ready now. Obviously, that's the energy that's happening for everybody, because you've cleared a layer of karma that was dropping a higher manifestation. So now you're going to see Cancer really stepping into who they are. You're going to see Cancers leading a lot more of the world. Cancers are going to have an amazing year. They're going to do great. Yeah.
So I think that what you just stated was also some spell casting for yourself going forward for the next year.
Yeah.
So dreams come true.
The dream is the dream. The 11th and the 9th houses are like lucky, gains, wins. These are fun houses.
Yay. Travel. I love that, since I have had an 11th house activation here with Taurus.
Nice.
So there were 2 cards that came out for Cancer, and one of them didn't fully come out of the deck. So I wasn't sure if it was one or not. But I just kind of put it to the side, and then another one came out, and both cards are so connected with what you said.
Really? How exciting.
So wild hawkweed, this activates wholeness and falling in love with yourself. So you were talking about relationships, and you were also talking about really trusting your own intuition and your own self, falling in love with your guidance. This is speaking directly to that. And let me flip this around. So if people want to go back and hang on, let me see. There we go. They can read a little bit more about the details of it. Hopefully everyone can see that. And then the second card that came out was the Jade Succulent, which is all about going for it. So you were talking about how
Aries energy, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit of that Aries energy, but it's like Cancer, they're ready finally, like you were saying, like you're finally ready to step out there and do that thing.
Yeah.
So here's, hang on, let me see if I can get this so that everyone can see what.
Wow, that's so interesting. It's so that Ashwini energy that we were talking about with that Aries, because Cancer are going to have a lot of planets in Aries, because Jupiter is going to be in Aries, Venus is going to go into Aries, the Sun is going to go into Aries soon. So Aries season is going to light up the house for Cancer, because Cancer have Aries over their 10th house.
So that's pretty cool. So that's very, very aligned. All right. So then now let's move on to Leos, another wild bunch of lions and lionesses.
You guys had that full moon too. That full moon was powerful. So let's see where you guys have Pisces. Leo, have Pisces over there. 8th house, nice. Oh, interesting. So this is a relationship house. It could be a brand new beginning in a relationship, or it could also be a brand new, you could get married. It could be like a situation where you become very, very entwined and committed in a relationship where you share resources, joining your resources. You could suddenly decide to get a loan and qualify to buy a house, or buy something, or you could refinance, but basically we're looking at outside resources. You could decide to start going online and start exploring online banking or online trading. My Leo son is excellent at that. He won an award in high school for stock market trading. So it's like, they're very intuitive. You have Pisces over the 8th house. You might have a really strong intuitive knowing about, and this again, you're going to go intuitive. You're going to go intuitive and you're going to realign and find out whether you need to take a loan, whether you need to, what's the next best step towards financial abundance. And it's going to involve outside resources. So you want to tune into that. If you are a Leo, you want to tune into the energies that are going to be very supportive of you, either getting a loan out or borrowing money or joint resources, or you could get an inheritance that enables you to make a brand new beginning. Again, this is risky. Risk, 8th house, you might take a risk. But again, if you follow that intuitive knowing, you're going to nail it. It's going to be a good one. You're clearing up relationship issues. And what else? Capricorn over your 6th house, health stuff. You've learned a lot about discipline. You learned a lot about showing up for yourself and structuring your life. And you may have been going through a lot of codependency or challenging things because you have Aquarius and Leo, and that's part of that square of the eclipses all last year and this year. So there's rattlings of going ons in relationship houses and all your cardinal houses, basically. So really, any fixed sign, we're looking at major shifts and changes in your lives. I know I say that I sound like a broken record, but when you have the cardinal aspects, you're changing your career, your living space, your relationships, and your past, your living situation, career, relationships, and yourself, your identity.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, whew. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, I think it's trining your ascendant. If you have Leo ascendant, no, it can't be because it's trining your ascendant if you're a Cancer. Basically, if you are any mutable signs, you're going to get squares. So if you have Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, this is going to negatively aspect you in the sense that it might square any of your planets in those degrees, lower degrees. But again, this is just so that you realign and you learn something and you bring up a lower density issue, like you were saying, coming up for purging. So Leo, fears, again, the 8th house is fears. So there's some deep survival fears popping up, clear that, and initiate forward. Aries energy, you're going to get a lot happening in your 9th house coming in, travel, new ideas, new philosophies, waking up, going forward very confidently somewhere in your 9th house, but basically clearing fears, deep fears, by the way, Pisces. So this is a karmic energy, very deep fears around survival, triggering, okay? And shifting your mentality around that. Your survival is based on your mind, on your perceptions, on your thinking, on your alignment with the higher self, with your intuitive knowing. That's how animals do it. They listen to themselves. They listen to themselves before they act.
Well, because animals aren't thinking. It's instinctual.
Right. They
It's
survive
intuitive.
through their intuitive knowing.
Yeah.
And mine's for our higher good as well.
Yeah.
And especially in a Pisces new moon, and especially because it's lighting up our Pisces house, wherever we have Pisces. So that house is where you're supposed to direct your intuitive focus. Okay.
So what the card that came up for this, I was wondering, I was like, is this correct? And I think it's very specifically targeted to the relationship aspect of this, because this is fireweed and the message is forgive someone now.
Oh, interesting.
So your relationship, situations going on. This also is recovery, has to do with
Mhm.
recovery. There could be heartbreaks, some fatigue issues. Just remembering that love is
It
all
is an-
around you.
Yeah, it is an eighth. I mean, the eighth house is a relationship house. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I was kind of taking that to heart myself with, as Leo sun, gal, and forgiveness has come up for me this week, or
Mm.
in some relationships,
Mhm.
that you think you're all good, and then something happens, and then you're
Get
back
triggered.
in this emotional mix again, and realize, oh, there's another layer
Yep.
and another level of forgiveness that's ready to emerge and be
Mhm.
experienced. So yeah, it
I'm
was
really
just
glad you brought that up, because the Pisces energy, Ho'oponopono, forgive everybody. Absolutely. I mean, in my workbook in my workbook that I do, I like every week you can forgive like 10 people a week. Like, just do it. Just do it. Just like makes it easy. Just clear this karma. Because we
yes,
really want to get out of these cycles. We really want a
yeah,
new life, a better life. So,
right.
but
Okay,
good point.
Virgo.
Good point.
Yeah,
Virgo. Okay, Virgo. You guys have Capricorn, Aquarius over your fifth and your sixth. Again, relationship slash work houses, healing, body health issues with Saturn there, day to day, again, structures, routines, changing. And you have Pisces. Where's Pisces? Ooh, over your seventh house. Wow, nice for Virgo. Again, it's immutable. So it's opposing your ascendant. Again, this is going to get triggered, but you're going to be revealed. It's going to reveal you your lack of intuitive alignment in your choices of relationships, and you're going to be focused. This new moon is on the descendant, so we're looking at true divine relationships coming into your life now. A true divinely aligned relationship. You've cleared karma with Capricorn in your fifth house. Capricorn in your fifth. You've had a lot of friends that you've cleared karma around, relationships that fell through, friendships that were not right, that were forcing situations there, and friendships, also creative projects, and maybe even pregnancies. I mean, you may not have been able to get pregnant actually with Saturn there. It may have blocked a pregnancy, so that you are aligned in your right relationship. Because Pisces over your seventh house, you are destined you are destined towards a divine love relationship. You have to love yourself more, of course. This is a house that requires clearing karma with the self a lot, so that you are able to resonate at that frequency to allow a divine partnership in, which means you have to have sacred love of self. You have to see the sacredness of yourself. It's a good chance you meet your person in this new moon. Changes your mind completely. You're blown away. It's not who you thought it was. It could be a real. By the way, we have a Mercury squaring. Forgot about the Mercury squaring Uranus in all of this. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. And we've got Neptune. There's so much to talk about, but there's possible surprise run-ins with a true divine mate, or you meet that person. I do have somebody I read for this week. They just ran into someone they hadn't seen in 10 years. And it was really good chance that's their divine mate. Like they were like, wow, I think that was the person, or they're back, it's reigniting. So what else could I throw in there? Saturn leaving your sixth house, a gift of work, a gift in a new potential job, or more an aligned work effort. Hard work. You've worked hard around something that you're going to get a good result from, because that's the sixth house. You've cleared some. It's been difficult. That's a difficult house. So there's going to be a nice feeling of relief when Saturn goes into your seventh house. But now you're going to start up a whole new structured life with most likely your true love, your true person for the next 25. But some kind of a joint project as well, joint mission will probably happen. So
I love this. So the card for Virgo is dandelion.
oh,
And dandelion, I was again wondering how this card was going to tie in, and you literally just said it now.
yeah.
This activates relaxation and dissolves tension. So when you're talking about how they've worked through and they've done all this hard work, and this is going to be a relief, this speaks to that. And this also magnifies mental freedom. So if any Virgos have been really, I don't know, the Virgos in my life, they've had a lot on their mind. They've been dealing with a lot of thoughts and working and processing through things. Now you're going to feel some relief of that. Like things are going to start to click into
Yes.
place and make sense. And it's going to feel like, oh, okay, great.
Yes.
That's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Good.
okay,
Good.
Libra.
Great. Okay, Libra, you guys have a lot of you have Capricorn over your fourth house. So you're really clearing a lot of that karma around family origins and around what you think it's supposed to be like, what you think you're supposed to do, it's because Capricorn was all where you went to your mind about it. And then we have Saturn leaving your fifth house. So you're probably going to get into a very seriously long-term committed relationship because you're going to have Jupiter right now in your seventh house of relationships on your descendant. So we are looking at a very committed align. Now we've got that Pisces energy in your sixth house, new moon there. So it looks to me like joint missions with divine mates, most likely, because that, well, if you're already married, you might become pregnant. You may get that pregnancy coming through, but also you're going to get the prize of a creative project because Saturn blocked fun and joy and good things in your fifth house. So now it's leading, so there's going to be more fun, there's going to be more creative projects, more focus. So Saturn in your sixth house, you're going to be focused day to day on something, very disciplined, very keyed in, but also sixth house is your health. So you're going to be focused on making sure your health, your day-to-day routine is what determines your success and your health and your wealth. So I think Libras are going to be very focused on their day-to-day routines, their disciplines, health, being more healthy, taking on daily routines that are supportive of better health and focus on career day to day. It's a good, frustrating energies. The sixth house can be very frustrating, but you focus and work hard. It'll be okay. It'll fill your cup. When we're working hard in something that's in aligned with our heart and it's right for us, it's very fulfilling. So Saturn is going to be in your sixth house, making you kind of work hard and be busy, focused. Saturn again is focused. So we're going to be very focused there. Aries in your seventh house. You're going to have a lot of planets lighting up your seventh house in the month of your year, your solar return in March. So you're going to see wild, fabulous new start to your life and in relationships, most likely, either business contracted type relationships, but brand new beginnings.
So, okay,
Yep.
so there a whole bunch of cards flew out. And so when that happens, it's like, okay, which one?
Oh, wow.
Which one is it? So I kind of
Mhm.
put them out and let them speak to me. And
Mhm.
the one that really jumped out was
Yeah.
the African daisy, which activates playfulness, and the message is be
Oh, how fun.
silly. So
So funny.
when it comes to Libras, I think too. Oh, here, let me turn this around so that
It's
folks
so
can see.
crazy.
It's yeah, I think it's, again, Libra is all about balance. It's balancing that
Yeah.
focus that you were talking about, that
Mhm.
focus on projects and their health and career and anything else that they have going on in their lives,
Yeah.
with some fun and being silly and just enjoying the process, enjoying the journey.
Yeah, that is crazy. I cannot believe you pulled that card. I cannot believe that. I love that because it's like when you're doing this and you're looking at all the transits, you see 4 or 5 things and then that card goes, boom, that's the thing. Okay, good.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So Scorpio, what's going on
Scorpio,
with
you guys
Scorpios?
have Pisces in your fifth house. So new beginnings in relationships, friendships turning potentially into Pisces is a divine energy, sacred. So it's like very high frequency, very high connected to God kind of energy, very higher dimensional. So we're looking at the highest dimensional, best relationships opening up, aligning into that friend turning into a committed partnership. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, it trines your ascendant as well from the bottom of the chart. Then we've got, where was your Capricorn work? In finance, in communication and thinking. You're clearing your thinking patterns, your internal dialogue. You're realizing and learning that you create a lot of your own karmic hell by either communicating through manipulative ways or thinking that your communication is your salvation, or what you say and don't say is your salvation. And then we have the Aquarius, Saturn leaving your fourth house. Good chance you're going to get left the gift of a new living situation, a new family, a better family, a more shall we say, divinely aligned, your higher soul's desired living situation that is right. Now you're going to go intuitive on that before you make that decision. Again, Scorpio, go deep intuitive, making sure you're aligning with the place that's right for you. But we're looking at Scorpios moving very much so. And then Pisces, new friendship, new relationship, possible pregnancies as well. Watch out for that. But if by this point, you're going to get pregnant if that's your destiny. If that's the next cycle for you to learn how to be a mother and raise kids, you're going to get pregnant. So that's your new karma clear for the higher reality, that you're going to learn something new for you. So yeah, so Aries is in your 6th house, so expect busy time in March. Very busy period. You're going to have a lot of planets there. And you've got the eclipses in your relationship houses. One more eclipse there, and the nodes are going to leave Taurus. So you're going to wrap up that lesson that you've been going through between committed partnerships, and now you're going to, or contracted partnerships, and now you're going to be like much more, shall we say, entwined finances with that person. There's a new development in that relationship, that in the relationship houses that you've been going through during the eclipses. You've transformed those things, so now there's a new relationship, or a new in more an alignment relationship that you now take into a committed resources connected, resources bonded more with Saturn going into Saturn is going into your 5th house, but what is going into your 8th house? Oh, right. The nodes are there. So you've transformed a fear of intimacy. Sorry, where are we? Where the heck? 7th house. Yes, you've transformed a fear of intimacy about letting someone in. Now the nodes are going to go into Aries, into your 6th house. Okay, good. So now you're really more focused on taking new beginnings in a co-partnership, being very busy with that person. You're going to have a very busy month, but it's a good chance that you're taking a relationship forward in that time, a new beginning. There's very much, because you've had the eclipses in these houses, so there is something that wasn't right in your relationship houses that now you're aligning with the right relationship, so that your days can now be focused on a busy going forward, projects, health, day-to-day routines, all of that, your whole life, like a new life, a day-to-day routine. So what card comes up, I wonder?
I feel that in such a big way. I can't
Yeah.
even tell you on so many levels. And actually even just, and I'm going to throw myself under the bus a bit
Sure.
here. I found recently, in the past maybe 5 days, week or so,
Yeah.
how there were certain things that I was saying and doing, the way I was communicating, there was an undercurrent of manipulation that I wasn't aware of consciously until I observed myself. I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Because I didn't mean to. It was it was just a subconscious patterning that was playing out. So that feels very aligned. The Bird of Paradise is the card, and this card is, to me, it's very connected to me. It's one of my most favorite flowers. It's very popular here in Florida, and this has to do with connection, activating connection. So that is around relationship. I would say there's a lot of relationship energy here. Quieting the mind, which for me personally is a huge thing.
That is
so
Pisces right there.
It's perfect. It's perfect. So let me flip this around so those that have Leo in their charts can see, I'm sorry, Scorpio rather, in their charts can see what this is about, because it's really, this flower, I just love it because there's so much happening in this flower when you look at it.
It's funny because I wasn't agreeing that you communicate manipulative. That wasn't what I was nodding my head to, just so you know. But what I thought was interesting is that that is this Pisces new moon that you're tuning in. People are tuning into how they created their karma. They're making that connection. That's what's going on right now, which is fantastic.
It is really, really cool. When you're, here's the other part of it too that I'd love to point out to people or highlight, is that when you observe yourself doing something that isn't in the highest version of yourself, that energy, can you find a way to just laugh about it and go, wow, I really wasn't shining my light very brightly there. So let me see if I can do that better next time, because that's not what I want to do.
Right.
And really just give yourself a break, you know, because I found myself going down a very well-worn path of beating myself up and like, seriously, Amalia, what are you doing? And
Yes.
it's like, what good does that do?
That is the other side of it. It's either manipulative for Scorpio or internal poison, toxic thinking. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been working with a few Scorpio, and I was just like, you can, what? They're telling me this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the most toxic thinking. That is not okay to think that way. You must delete.
Yes, delete. And you can do that. That's a
Yes.
great tip to remind people, you know, if you
Yep.
say something that you didn't intend to say, just say delete, delete, delete 3 times,
that.
and that literally just clears it. And whether you believe it or not, it doesn't hurt. What does it hurt to say it?
Free.
You know?
Yeah. Doesn't
Yeah.
cost you a dime.
Exactly. Super easy. Okay. So Sagittarius, what's going on
So
for
you
them?
guys are mutable signs. You could be getting squared depending on the obviously degrees of your Sagittarius placements, but Sagittarians are going to be squared to this new moon. Now Sagittarians, I know that Sagittarians are reluctant to live their fire. It's a tendency. I have a few Sagittarians in my life that I try to help with this. So Sagittarians, you got to align with that fire, creative, inspired self. You're going to have a square to this, and it's going to show you where you have not been taking inspired actions. Fire signs need to live in the center of their inspired self. And they have Pisces over their fourth house. So you're going to be a new beginning in a living situation. And I do know Pisces, my son, is moving. So he's going to have a new beginning in a living situation. You can't see it yet, but it's coming. If you can't see it, don't worry, it's coming. But again, you're aligning with a better place. Intuitive, tune into your intuitive knowing. You're going to get intuitive. By the way, when these intuitive energies come in, you're going to get it guiding. You're going to get a clear guidance the way forward here. That's what you're tuning in for. And so Sagittarians are going to get clear guidance about forward motion involving a new area of life or a new family, preparing again for their 5th house. Aries lighting up that 5th house in March is lighting up your 5th house. So new beginnings and creative projects, potentially getting pregnant, having babies, or teaching. The 5th house can be teachers or performers, but basically new growth, rapid new, a lot of fire in that house, which is, so you want to line up with what is passionately your creative passion itself, because you're going to line up with it's a firehouse. It's in your creative house. So you got to line up with your creative fire. And intuit what that is, what makes you excited, because fire signs have to live with their fire lit. Or they get depressed. You're not fired up about life. You're Jupiter raised. Got to be up living your Jupiter, living your cup's desires. You're fulfilling your life, fulfilling yourself. Sorry if I sound like a loop here. Okay, so but Capricorn, see, Sagittarians have been clearing karma around their 2nd house of financing and their 3rd house. So what that means is they have been learned a lot of lessons around their mentalities, around money, toxic thinking around finances, fear-based, secure-based choices around finances. Instead of following your creative fire, you're following security-based choices. I know a lot of Sagittarians that are learning that. And then we're going to have, what else? So yeah, this Pisces new moon inspired me a deeply connected soul group, family. Great. And for the next 2.5 years, you're going to have Pisces in your 4th house. Saturn in your 4th house. So you're going to be very focused, working hard, maybe at home, maybe going home and working hard, or working hard on a living situation, or maybe you start to build a home, build a new property. I actually am hoping to do that. I'm Sagittarius sun. So yeah, let me think of what else I could say. But basically shifting to a soul divine situation and a living situation, that is really, you got to know where you want to live. That's an important thing. And I'm going to go meditate on that too. Like it's really great whenever I've moved somewhere and I got exactly what I wanted. I wrote down exactly what I wanted. I wanted a window, a view. I want a bathtub, a washer, just visualize this come into contact. But also sometimes when you visualize and you're tuning into the new moon or the psychic energy, you really leave the mind space. You're not really supposed to try to think of what you want. You just let the universe show you. It's almost like you get this image of what you want, this vision. Pisces is very about getting visions and downloads and higher out of the mind wisdom coming through. So you're going to align with your most best, highest place to live.
So Sagittarians have the
Yeah.
navel orange blossom as their
Mm.
flower.
Yeah.
This magnifies inspiration.
Oh,
So
wow.
this here lines up so beautifully, I feel like, where it's like it also, the message is it's good to be alive, but the magnification of inspiration. So knowing what you're, like you were just talking about, Madelaine, what
Yeah.
sort of living arrangement do you want? What sort of life do you want to lead? Where do you want to be? What do you, it's like really having that an inspiration to carry you forward in making your new home, making,
Yes.
you know, the
Yeah,
choices
they're
going
probably
forward.
all Sagittarians that I know are probably going to move.
It'll be interesting to see where
we all move to.
you all
I
land.
love where I'm living. I don't know. Maybe I don't move. Maybe I just get involved. Maybe I stay in my apartment, but another project around my property moves forward. Something like
Right.
that.
So many
So
ways.
yeah, maybe you don't move, or also maybe somebody moves in with you and you're a family and you become a family. So what, you know, something new and opening and great.
Is coming.
Yes.
It's on the horizon.
And don't forget, you could get a square, My son is Pisces. He's going through a square right now. He had a flooding in the bottom in his room and he has to move.
Oh,
Like
wow.
he's being forced to move. That could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. For the best. It's always for the best.
It is for the best. Okay, so
Capricorn.
Yeah, you guys are really thank the Lord because Capricorn have gone through a lot and now we're really good for Capricorn. They've cleared up, things are open. It's just going to be so much better for Capricorns that you have no idea. I'm so happy for Capricorns and I have a lot of Capricorn planets, so it'll be good for me as well. So Capricorn have Pisces over their third house. New beginning, they may start a new business. They may start a writing project or get ideas or but also become aware of their thinking. Capricorn are cleared a lot of karma. So they're really getting because third house is the lower mind in a way. It's more detailed. It's more like, it's the Gemini energy. It's the writer. It's learning information, knowledge. They may suddenly be interested in learning something new about knowledge, about something that potentially writing, starting a business, but they're definitely, you're going to have Saturn there for the next 2.5 years. So there's a good chance that you're becoming very, very disciplined, hardworking at a business or a website. You start your website, you start, but remember, Pisces is very spiritual, so connected. So you're really tuning into something that you do really want to do and a business you do really want to make. Make sure if you do start a business, it's one you love, because businesses are hard work. So you got to do one you love so that it doesn't feel like hard work all the time. And Pisces, Capricorn are hard workers. They're not supposed to work that hard. That's what they're here to learn, is to go spiritual with your effort. That's what Pisces is going to do. They're going to align up with a more spiritually in alignment, one way of thinking and way of existing. Now, when I say spiritual, it doesn't just mean what we're talking about. It can be a business around healthy chocolates or new fabrics that are, depending what other planets you have. If you have Leo in your second house, you might want to do design that are more, shall we say, eco and material friendly to natural materials or something like that. So we're really just talking about advancing society in a way that is progressive. So, so Capricorn are becoming much more positive minded around finances. And Gemini in their third house was very spiritual thinkers, like opening up their minds into spiritualism is another way you could look at it. A seed gets planted, a spiritual seeding, but also that connection, that intuitive connected knowing to what they want. Ideas come in, an idea could come in, you get planted, a really powerful seed. Everybody could get a download of a seed gets planted in our psyche. See what card comes up.
It's interesting. I've been shuffling this whole time and
You're
they're,
not pulling one out, huh?
yeah, nothing wants to, I'm just going to close my eyes here. Cause I
Yeah.
think when you were talking about Capricorn, of course I was thinking about my guy
Uh-huh.
who's a Capricorn sun and one of my
Mhm.
dearest friends. And I felt like their energy was so swirling around and trying to influence, which
Yeah,
was,
because your guy's Pisces as well.
he's a
Pisces,
Capricorn
so
sun and Pisces
oh
rising.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just, okay. So Capricorns,
Mm.
Capricorns been through a lot.
Great. Basically, anybody with Capricorn planets in their chart, wherever that's been has been tough.
Yeah.
Expect
Yeah.
the freedom of that. Like,
Oh, here we go. There we
ooh,
go.
what'd you get?
Oh my gosh, this is so perfect. No wonder it took a second. Trumpet vine activates effortless speech. Free your voice.
Oh
And your
my.
voice can come out in writing.
Oh
It can
my
come out
gosh.
in so many ways.
Oh my gosh. If that isn't better than what I was trying to say,
Yeah, right
that is
here.
right. That Capricorn are finding their voice. Wow. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think I just had to clear my energy because it was
Yes.
nothing was coming through because
But
I
you
was
had a personal influence on that.
I
Maybe.
was trying not to, and I think
Yeah.
that's why I had to just kind of clear it and share.
Mhm.
And so everyone saw what happened. That was not me manipulating
Wow.
cards. That was not, I mean, you saw the card go flying out. So
I bet there's no other deck and there's no other card in that deck that would represent the third house better than that card.
probably not.
So yeah, they're clearing their inner dialogue again, new thoughts, downloads, ideas. And then Aries in their fourth house, again, family stuff charged up in March, moving, new family, cohabitation, again, shift, big new beginnings, fourth house is family, property, real estate.
Oh yeah. Wild, wild stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. We're marching along. We're in Aquarius now.
Aquarians, again, all those fixed signs have been going through a lot with those eclipses, and you've got Saturn, you've had Saturn in your first house. So you have literally been taskmasked, but you've become grown up in some area about yourself. You've matured. You've taken responsibility. I always forget to add that about Saturn. We're taking responsibilities too. So you're taking on more responsibilities of the self, like you realize that you're not just thrown around in this world by everybody else and everything. You're like, wait a minute. I'm the self determines how this plays out, like boom. So there's alignment with the self. And so when Saturn leaves their first house, they're more confident, they're more empowered, they know who they are more, they're more, they've grown up, they've become more disciplined. What else can I say here for Pisces? Oh, and they have Pisces in their second house. So new beginnings in financing and money. An idea potentially coming in to how to make money. But again, aligning more because the second house is your own resources. So becoming aware of how a seed being planted in something that they possess, a talent, a skill, or perhaps you own property and you start to farm it but basically the second house is your own personal resources. So in some way, shape or form in your own resources, you're able to initiate a new financial beginning. You have new ideas about this. It could be very spiritual. You could suddenly decide you want to become a psychic person and you want to start working in the psychic field. This is a psychic new moon, would be great to do that in. We are opening up. We got Saturn into Pisces people. Absolutely. We're going to have a wave of spiritualism right now. I can already see it. A store that I like to work in sometimes, she's just selling like hotcakes, all her cards and stuff. It's crazy.
Sorry, I was just going to say it's a fantastic way using these divination tools to access information and communicate with a higher power, divine wisdom. And for anyone who's interested in that and they're curious, they're not sure, I have a course currently on my website at karmickindness.com. It's half off if you want to DM me or send me a message. I might actually put it in the description. So anyone who wants to access it till the end of March, you can get 50% off. It's only $22. And I walk you through how to choose a deck, how to store a deck, how to use a deck, how to clear a deck, different types of decks that you can use, because I think for the clients that I work with and people that I have been in touch with around cards have said like they're intimidated by it. They don't understand them. They don't know what to do with them. They heard somebody say that you can't buy your own deck. Somebody has to give it to you. They heard you can't give a deck away. They heard, and it's like, okay, well, that doesn't even make sense. You know,
Yeah.
you can't buy your own deck, but you can't give away a deck, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay. So it just kind of takes some of the guesswork out. And this is just how I've experienced it and what's worked for me. And then you can take it and do whatever you wish with it, but at least you've learned a little something to get you started.
Yeah.
And then you can create whatever structure or system you want. But it
I
just,
like that.
yeah. So
like, I always felt like we're coming into a time where we're not going to do religions anymore, but we're going to make up our own little personal religion just for you, you know, like
yeah,
what your spiritual tools are, your spiritual practices are. We can just design a religion for ourselves, you know, that works for us.
I think that's fantastic.
Tools. Yeah, like that. And you know, there's a lot of great ways. Yeah.
I think it's awesome. So, okay, here's Aquarius's card.
Yeah, what'd you get?
It's Brugmansia, and I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly because I don't know that I've ever pulled this card from this deck ever. It activates ease. The message is let go and let loose. And what's interesting is you were talking about that Capricorn disciplined energy and the structure and all of that. And now it's like, okay, they did that. Now it's time for Aquarians to take that and then really just run with it, which I think Aquarians tend to do anyway. They're more of that, you know, that higher mind, your Uranian sort of vibe, but at the same time, they do need that structure and discipline in order to get things done. So it's like they now have that balance once again. And then one other thing was, it dissolves feeling alone, and it also dissolves that excessive seriousness and responsibility. So if any Aquarians have been feeling that lately with a little vestiges of that Saturn energy, that will be dissolved, and know that you can ask for help, that you're not alone.
You know, what's interesting is they have Capricorn over their 12th house, which I didn't really bring up, which is very much about alone, and they've had Pluto there. So it's interesting that card's showing up for them.
All right, and now we are rounding out
Pisces.
the superstar of this forecast.
Yes, interesting. So for Pisces, really, it's not that hard for you guys. Most Pisces are like, you say to them, earth to so-and-so, earth, you know, Pisces tend to be lofty people out I'm like that. I'm Pisces moon. So I'm a bit of a daydreamer. So for you guys, it's really not really like a special new thing. You're already kind of like in daydream mode all the time anyway, pretty much. But this is going to be super active. You want to tune into it, have fun. It's your day. It's your time. Go deep, meditate. You're going to get downloads, ideas, clarity. You're very psychic right now. The veils are thin for everybody, but especially Pisces. You're going to be guided and nudged very clearly. Pisces, they're going to get the Saturn. They're going to be lined up very, very strongly. Pisces are not going to go the wrong way unless they're in addictive mode and they're acting out in addiction in their life right now. And that could flare up if you have that problem and that's happening in your psychic field. But I would think you're either going to hit a bottom and then you quit and then you start your new life. You've got Saturn in your first house. So Saturn on your ascendant is going to make you work very, very hard. If let's say you do become sober, you're going to work very, very, very hard and become sober, or that's not an issue. But whatever your escapist tendencies are, you are going to meet a reckoning with. Pisces tend to do that. So you're going to have to face and become responsible. Saturn is coming on. So where are you not responsible? But again, you know, we're all growing up somewhere and becoming more responsible in our Pisces house. So not to be heavy on Pisces, grow up. But basically Pisces are aligning more with that two energies. To have Saturn in your first house with that Pisces energy is fabulous. I mean, you know, it's hard work, but it's intuitive. Saturn is going, the government, we're going to see this in the government when Saturn goes into Pisces, softening up. I'm already seeing stuff soften up. We're seeing a softening up of the ways because, well, that's the cycle. It always happens this way. So Pisces are going to be very intuitively able to follow a more structured routine in their lives, and they're going to be much more serious. They're going to be more mature, responsible. They've cleared a lot of karma in their 11th house, friendships, ending friendship groups that aren't right, or social media ways of operating that have not been in alignment for them. I think it's open. Yeah, go. They're basically finding potentially their new true group, their true tribe coming into their life, but clearing that karma so that you're making the friends that are soul connected to you, that you're realizing, no, this is what intuitively feels right. Pisces are waking up. Now, again, we've got shadow aspect. If you aren't doing that yet, and you're hearing this, the faster you do this, the better you're going to do. Pisces got to go with that intuitive knowing, got to get out of headspace. Pisces are not, they got to follow that. They got to learn how to align, because they wander around with their intuitive knowing without really knowing. They're just intuitive. They're like, oh, what? But it's like, no, take that intuitive energy and put a mental knowing to it. It's like the backwards thing for Pisces. They're always in their intuitive, but they're not really in their knowing. They're like, ah, la, 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 la. And you're like, no, now put into your ground that, create structure around that, make it a practical, grounded, forward thing. So Pisces are like earth to Pisces, earth to the stars, because Saturn is the earth to Pisces, come down, grow up, and you've learned a lesson. Now put in that structure and work hard. But it's going to fill your cup. It's Jupiter. Again, this is Jupiter ruled. This makes us happy, and it's abundant. It's going to be the right thing, and you're going to feel it. You're going to know it. It's intuitively in alignment. Rest my case.
So the card for Pisces, I feel like it's aligned, but the asterisk to it is the discipline structure. So this is a reminder of
not a very structured sign, just so
right.
you are not that disciplined.
this card here, this is a white magnolia. And the message is you are divine. It's about spiritual fulfillment.
Interesting.
So Pisces, like you said, they have the sense of it, but they don't really know it. And then we have that Saturnian energy that really is going to, I don't want to say force, because that seems a bit harsh, but encourage Pisceans to
be forced. Might be forced.
Okay.
So, it's good to know that, because Saturn does make you align.
Yeah. So
But
here's the white. Hang on, let me try to get the white magnolia. Wait a minute. Here we go. White magnolia. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So people can pause the video and then read a little bit more about it. But
what does it say dissolves? Because Neptune, Pisces.
It dissolves negativity and darkness, dissolves extraneous thoughts. So Pisces people can also just
negative
like
thinkers. They can do really negative stories. I have to say,
and they get lost in their own head.
Yes.
Dissolves fears, including fear about death. So that may be speaking to some folks. It magnifies awakening and your highest aspirations, deep peace, spiritual fulfillment, acceptance, the ability to sense the divine in every moment. And then you have Saturn there that's telling you to take action based on this divine inspiration and guidance.
They've had Saturn in their 12th house. So Saturn in your 12th house, that's not been easy for Pisces. So they really are. My son has a Saturn in his 12th house, actually, oddly enough. But anyway, when you have Saturn in the 12th house, you're being taught to ground a higher dimension. You're taught to create structure to something that you're connecting to on a higher level. You got to create that structure around it. It's hard for Pisces. They are the least disciplined. So they will become very disciplined.
Yeah, it's a really, I think, really interesting time for everybody. And March, I can't wait till we do the full moon.
I know. What is the next full moon? What is it? Aries full moon? Wait, yeah.
No, it's
Pisces. No,
Virgo. Yeah,
Virgo.
So we've got that, and so that's going to anchor in that
Mhm.
earth energy to anchor in what is happening this new moon.
Right.
So it's
Yeah, what's the date of that? Is that going to be, because that's going to be maybe go time there, that busy time, that might be that when things really, because right now it's still kind of that meditative energy going inward with that Pisces new moon. But then when that Virgo energy comes, it's kind of like the opposite energy. It's
yeah.
like busyness of the highest.
I logged my thing logged out. So hang on,
Oh,
let me see
okay.
if I can log back in because it's in my
Well, it's
calendar.
2 weeks. So what's 2 weeks? We're going to be in March. So it's
It
probably that
is,
first week of March.
yeah, so it is March 7th at 7:40 a.m. Eastern.
We have Venus and Jupiter conjoining at that time. Wow.
It's
Fantastic.
powerful time,
Yeah,
powerful
because
time.
Venus and Jupiter are going to be in Aries. So that in Virgo, I think trines or sextiles Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a
Exciting.
comment, I just popped over to YouTube. So
Mhm.
Phil was well, I think it's my friend Phil that was on there, my one of my soul brothers on
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and I think he was referring to the Scorpio card, which was the bird of paradise, because he said it looked like a bird, and it
Oh, it
does. I mean, it's
doesn't it?
obviously it's
Yeah.
called a bird of paradise, but if you think about this too, I also feel like there's a little bit of energy. Even though this is a water sign, there's that balancing for a lot of folks, because we're at the end of the cycle of, being able to see the bird's eye view of everything that we've learned through each one
Mhm.
of the signs.
Yeah. Excellent.
So I love that he brought that up, and now we can have this little bit of a conversation about
Yeah.
that. So really, if everyone, takes this opportunity in this Pisces new moon cycle to really think about, and maybe those who are signed up for my kindness correspondence emails, I may make a little cheat sheet for you so you can go through each one of the signs. So I'll have each sign with a couple of key words, and see what first thing pops into your mind or into your heart about the energy, and see if there's a theme. There might be a theme showing up for you. Maybe you cleared something, maybe you are activating something, and just see where that leads you. Where does that go? Because there's always nuggets, there's always these little gems of wisdom that you can carry forward. But this is such a prime time to clear stuff and start anew. So
Yeah.
just be able
Well,
to rock that.
I'm looking at these paintings behind me because they're very Neptunian, because Neptune is foggy and like,
Oh,
look at
wow.
really
Yeah,
pretty, huh? Look at that painting. Actually, it's really pretty.
that is
And
very pretty.
and it's so Neptunian. It's like watery and misty and foggy. It's like, wow, interesting.
It is. It is. So I just want to mention a couple of things. And I think, Madelaine, I'm going to give you an opportunity to share what's going
Oh,
on and what's
sure.
coming up with your classes and your courses and the fun stuff that you're offering. But I'm going to be hosting a dream masterclass, because we're in this Pisces new moon energy that has a lot to do with dreams, and what sort of messages are our dream life, our dream world sharing with us. What do we need to know? A lot of people get very confused about what things mean, how to remember their dreams. I have a number of people who say they don't remember their dreams, or they don't dream. So it's only a 90-minute masterclass, so I can't go over everything, but we'll hit some highlights, and it's free for people to join.
Okay.
And if I have a course I've created that goes a little bit more deeply into that I'm releasing in a couple of months. So this gives everyone a little bit of a taster around your dream world and how magnificent and magical your dream world is in guiding you in your life. And then obviously the getting started with cards course also on my website. So I'll have the links for both of those in the description. And then, Madelaine, I know you have some fantastic offerings as well.
Yes, thanks, Amalia. I do weekly spiritual online workshops. We pull your transits, we pull cards. It's fun. It's a group of women. We get together. Now we are booked, but you can basically, you can just sign up a week in advance and get your seat. But, it's pretty much booked about 3 or 4 days in advance, but you can always get in and just book it. So it's like rotating. You can come in. If you don't get in this week, you can just book it for the next week. So we always have like rotating people come in. It's great. We get to know each other. We're watching everybody's lives going through these changes and shifts. And then we're also starting a new workshop, which is actually not a new workshop. It's the repeat of the last year one, which is on the 22 major arcanas of the Tree of Life, feminine, masculine, how to take each step forward and how to use the major arcana to really project, progress your life forward, as it were.
Okay.
Manifesting, it's about manifesting. So yeah, and then of course, if you want a personal reading, I do that too on Zoom, and we're live. We go through your chart, we pull cards, help you through anything you're going through. So email below or my
Perfect.
Instagram feed, Madelaine Parker Insta. You can message me there.
Yay.
And
Yeah,
I have a
and
YouTube channel,
for
yeah.
all of my offerings, same thing. It's all the information below. I'll put the link for the specific courses. And I just popped back over to YouTube, and it was my friend Phil. So hi, Phil. I'm
Thanks,
so
Phil, for
happy
the
that you're
question.
here and watching, tuning
It's a
in
good
live.
point. A good bird's eye view. I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that inspiration, Phil. And thank you for those of you who are watching the replay. We appreciate you coming in and supporting us. I know that when
Thanks for
we
watching.
we took a short little hiatus for one moon cycle on that, I had people messaging me about it. So
Oh, you did.
clearly it's something that folks really enjoy, and we have so much fun doing it. Also a footnote, next week we're going to be an hour and a half later due to some timing scheduling conflicts. So we will be here in 2 weeks on at 4:30 instead of 3 o'clock. So just giving everyone a heads up. Of course, we'll advertise that as well. But Madelaine and I are so happy that you're joining us. We appreciate you, and we will see you here in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And we wish you all a beautiful Pisces new moon cycle.
Yes. Happy new moon, Amalia, and everybody, and
yes,
fabulous psychic experiences. I hope you will.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Lots of love. Bye.